Some of you right now, you only work when it's easy. You only work when you feel like it. You only work when it's convenient.
But if you don't feel like getting after it, I hope you feel like being weak. I hope you feel like not accomplishing anything, because that's what's gonna happen.
You will not blow up. The vision won't become a reality for you because you don't show up every day. You show up when you feel like it.
If you can only execute when you feel like executing, you will fucking lose 100 times out of 100.
You gotta stop giving yourself a pass. I have watched people go after people in a way they never go after themselves. I have watched people judge people. Why they doing this or why they doing that? And this is terrible and that's terrible. They should be doing this and shit. With the same energy that you get on people, the same judgment you use, the same critique and criticizing you do, you don't do it for yourself. So I need you to turn yourself in the mirror and look in that mirror and stop giving you a pass. You give you a pass. You are not where you're supposed to be financially, and you can give yourself a pass. You know you better than that. You know you should be further in life, but you keep letting you slide. I need you to check yourself and change yourself and critique yourself. At some point, you gotta buckle down, and it starts with you looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm not getting up on time. I'm not going to work on time. I'm not putting in 120% when I'm at work. I let me down. And in order to get to where I want to get to, I need to discipline myself and maintain that discipline. Discipline means that you dominate when you feel like it and you dominate when you don't feel like it. Stop waiting for life to move you and you move you. Every day, move yourself. You gotta take control of your life. When you gonna wake up? What you gonna do when you up? You got to take control.
Because in this day and age, if you aren't careful, it's real easy to slide into cruise control mode. Don't do that with your life. Don't get on the road and just kind of let the car drive itself. When that's happening, you're not directing what's going on. You're not in control anymore. You're just drifting. It's not going where you want it to go. It's just going wherever it's going, unintentional. So what are you supposed to do? I'll tell you what we're supposed to do. Go to manual mode. That's what you have to do. If you go in cruise control, you will scroll until you are dead. You have to go into manual mode. You have to turn the trash off. Because if you don't go into manual mode, I'll tell you what's going to take over. Your natural, psychological, and physiological instincts will take over. They'll follow the path of least resistance. Don't let that happen. You have to deny these things from happening. Don't allow yourself to be a victim of your environment. You think things are gonna just go your way? Well, they're not gonna just go your way. You think things are gonna just happen for you? Well, they're not just gonna happen for you. You gotta impose your will, you gotta be disciplined, and you gotta make things happen. Go make things happen.
When you don't feel like getting up in the morning, you get your butt up in the morning, you do what you said you were going to do anyway. When you don't feel like sacrificing, you get your butt up and you sacrifice anyway. When you don't feel like being dedicated to it, you stay your butt dedicated anyway, because you understand what the process will go on to produce later on in your life. It's not about the outcome. Eliminate the outcome. And we have to get to the point where we're willing to impose our will on certain things. Impose your will on it. It's just as if you were facing an opponent. Life will give in to you if it knows you're serious about whatever it is that you're trying to do. Life will give in to you.
Any dream becomes a f***ing reality if you put the work ethic, the dedication, and sacrifice into it. When you're dead and exhausted like this, I should put a f***ing smile on your face, man. Because now you're doing something in your life.
In the beginning, things are gonna be fucking hard. You're gonna have a hard time winning today. You're gonna have a hard time getting through the day, doing everything you need to do. You're gonna have a hard time doing those workouts, or sending all those emails, or making the calls you need to make. That is going to seem extremely difficult on day one. But here's the thing, once you get through day one, and you get through day two, and you get through day three, it starts to become habit, because you start believing in yourself. You can look back and say, look, I got 7 straight days of winning the day, and you know what? I know I can win tomorrow. So you start to believe. And guess what? When you start to believe, that's when the fucking magic happens. Once you start working consistently, momentum begins to carry you and begins to pick you up. And if you string enough good days, productive days, hardworking days, pursuing success, you can ride that momentum anywhere you want to go.
Your work starts working for you. That the efforts that you put forth, the things that you do, those things start working for you. And while you sleep and while you chilling, Because of the work you put in, things just start happening for you. When you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, are there days you don't feel like it? I'm talking about less than 1%. I've been getting up so early for so long. I've dominated my sleep pattern. I've dominated my laziness. I've dominated procrastination. I've dominated so much. My body just clicked at 3 o'clock in the morning. Discipline. People who do stuff consistently and on time, they surpass people who talented and gifted.
If you do the fucking work, you will produce the result. But so many of you still believe that it's luck. It doesn't work that way. And you can either choose to go on with your life buying that story, or you can choose to embrace the fucking work right now and move down the path, take your beatings, get better from them, and become what it is that you are supposed to become.
Most winning is not beautiful. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's a grind. When you're making history, it very rarely feels like it. What it feels like is work. What it feels like is lonely. What it feels like is you're the only one doing it. But what you need to know is that when you're laying those bricks every day and the person that you're competing against is laying them every third day, it's the person who can do it over and over and over again that separates themselves.
And what I discovered was that you don't have to be born in a certain neighborhood. You don't have to have a certain socioeconomic status. It only takes one thing to get what you see other people have that you want, and it's called effort.
Our world is full of soft-ass freaking people. You can't be one of those. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a tough day. Hey, I look for tough shit. I was thankful for that. Matter of fact, at the end of a test day, hard fucking day for me, I'm like, thank you. I feel a euphoric moment getting through a test day. Every day, I want you to find hard stuff to do intentionally, because that's how mental toughness is created.
Make today the fucking day that you stop choosing the easy path. You stop chasing the instant gratification. From now on, you choose the path that'll make you stronger, that'll make you better.
E.T., how you get in the NFL? How you get in corporate? How you get in the NBA? I start being consistent. I start going to class every day. I started going there early. I started doing all my homework. I became committed to myself. I became consistent. You will have to work for every single thing you get, and you gotta work every single day. If you're going to get your personal freedom, you gotta go get it. You gotta go earn it. The dream is real, but the lifestyle is realer.
Greatness comes from doing mundane shit that average people can't keep doing. It's not all fucking sexy and fired up, but staying consistent, doing the shit you need to do over and over and over and over.
Easy doesn't pay well. And the only motherfuckers that win long term are the ones who are willing to do the shit they need to do when they don't feel like fucking doing it. Discipline is a skill. Grit is a skill. Fortitude is a skill. These are things that you can develop. How do you develop discipline? By doing hard shit over and over and over again. You don't want to get up today? You get your ass up anyway. You don't want to make your bed today? You make your fucking bed right now. You don't want to deal with that paperwork? You go fucking deal with it now. You make yourself get it done with no hesitation, because what it does is it forces you through doing stuff that is going to be very uncomfortable for a long enough period of time that you start to understand how to execute when things are not ideal, when it's highly inconvenient.
Every time you push through, you will get tougher. You build strength, not just physical strength, mental strength. And every time you put forth effort, your will, your discipline becomes stronger. And every time you quit, your will and your discipline gets weaker. You cannot allow that.
Anticipate the fire, anticipate the difficulty, anticipate that it's gonna suck. You have to teach your mind to honor the struggle. Every day you're getting discouraged. Instead of saying, well, I guess I quit, I suck, this is no good, it's never gonna happen, you have to take control of the self-talk and honor the struggle. Literally tell your mind how to deal with the process. Tell your mind, no, this process, this hardship, this struggle, it's part of conditioning me to be ready for the dream, to succeed. This part of the struggle that I hate right now. It's developing character. It's making me force it. It's helping me challenge. It's making me grow. Because if you can survive this, if you can rise from this, you can crush anything. If you deal with this difficulty, suckness now, you will have intellectual, physical confidence for life.
What do you do on the days that you are not inspired? Do you have the habits and rituals and disciplines, the guts, the grit to step up and do the things that you know you need to do all the time, not some of the time? And when you stack up those all the times, those are the inches that you fight for that separate the greats from the average.
Life's not gonna get easier. It's gonna get harder. It's gonna get tougher. So you gotta get harder and you gotta get tougher.
And if you can execute on a plan that you set out for yourself, regardless of what happens, you cannot be stopped.
The world wants to control your mind. And there's a battle for the way you think. Why? Because whatever gets your attention gets you.
What gets your attention is what matters.
Think about what you're thinking about. You got to decide. Are you going to let these things control you, or are you going to control them?
What I tell people all the time is, if they can't find one thing, they'll be distracted by many things. What you focus on expands.
If you hit a tree 1,000 times in 1,000 different spots, there's no guarantee it's going to fall. But if you hit a tree 1,000 times in that same exact spot, it's going to come to the ground. I need you to do the exact same thing every single day for the next 10, 15, 20 years and watch that tree come down.
Driven people destroy everything that gets in their way. You get my way, I'll bury you. Let me explain what driven means. The way that your eyes look, the way that you're paying attention in this room right now, it means everything. The little things don't mean a lot, they mean everything. How you wake up when the sun don't shine. How you wake up when you just lost your best customer. You lost 1 million, you lost 100, don't care. Don't care. I ain't going down, I'm staying high. I'm not going there.
Hold a vision of yourself being successful in the future with whatever you do. That's what you want to do, because your thoughts have magnetic power. Where focus goes, energy, persistence, faith, and determination flows.
You must wake up and take control of your mind. I don't feel like it. Shut your mouth. Winners live where quitters aren't.
Learning the art of becoming single-minded, learning how to concentrate, learning how to focus in. And you'll be surprised at the things that you're able to do when you learn how to block things out, when you learn how to keep thine eyes single.
Stay focused on your actions. Don't worry about what the haters say, or what your ex-girlfriend says, or your aunts and your uncles. Nobody gives a fuck. It's irrelevant.
You got to block out all the negative people. You got to block out every single obstacle, and you got to keep your eyes on the prize. You got to stay focused.
If you look at documentaries on successful people, they are weird because they've seen things that no one else seen for their career path. They're living beyond what is expected because they were obedient to the vision.
Stay focused. Stop caring what everyone thinks about what you're trying to accomplish. They can't possibly know or care how you feel. You must make decisions based on what you want first. Everyone else has their own agenda. Why not you?
You should be so focused, so busy on your own life, keeping the main thing, until you're oblivious as to what's going on around you.
Everything seems like it's important when you try to make your goals become a reality, but everything is not important. You got to make a decision. What's first? What's second? What's third? You got to concentrate on one thing at a time, because if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch none. Action is important. Work is important, yes, but work with no concentration. Work with no focus means what? You're doing 3 things poorly. And what I'm trying to teach you is, don't do 3 things poorly. It's better to do one thing great. And so your concentration, what you're focusing on throughout the course of the day, it has to change. What you're looking at, what you're reading, what you're watching, the conversations you have. You must now be focused on your dreams. You must be focused on your goals. It's always a result of a commitment to excellence intelligent planning, and focused effort.
And so in your life, I need you to get to that point where you become a master at this thing, a master at your life, a master at your goals, where you're 25 moves ahead. Like you're so strategic. You got this thing, you strategizing. You got this thing mapped up. You're not just waking up and saying, well, whatever happens next week, what happens? But you become methodical about your life. You start planning stuff out. You start taking notes. You start checking. You start paying attention to things that you never take. You are 25 moves ahead. I want you to be like a master chess player where you're constantly thinking about what's next.
I'm telling you right now, I need you to get focused. And when you get focused, it's okay to keep thinking about that same thing over and over again. But don't think about 10, 20 things. You get locked in like a pit bull on that one thing, and you focus on the now. You master the now. You become an expert of the now. I'm guaranteeing you, you're gonna blow up. This year, I will make this goal become a reality. I won't talk about it anymore. And after today, I'm not playing games anymore. I'm not pretending anymore. I'm not doing the facade no more. I don't care what people say or think. I'm not doing that no more. I want the influence, the impact, the income. I want it. It might take me 5 days to do what it takes you to do in 1 day, but I'm gonna do it in 5. It may take me 4 weeks to read a book that you can read in a week. And guess what happens? If you don't have phenomenal skill, but you got phenomenal will, you can make up for skill. You ain't gotta be perfect, but if you perfect every day, if you perfect every opportunity, I guarantee you're gonna have it, you're gonna be it, you're gonna do it.
If you have scattered focus, you'll have a scattered life. If you keep chasing every distraction, you'll keep bleeding time. And before you know it, 5 years have gone by, 10 years gone by, and you're no closer to your goals. You drifted, and the drifting turns into habit, and the habit turns into your life, a life that you never wanted. Don't let that happen. Don't allow yourself to fall down that path of complacency, of doing the easy things, getting caught up in frivolous activities or politics or gossip or what everyone else is doing. You've got to focus on you. Focus on your thoughts. Stop letting the wind take you whichever direction it blows. You've got to make a deliberate and determined effort to guard your mind and point it at what you're working to achieve.
What do I really want? What's my outcome? What's my result? Let's try to make it as clear, because that's what's going to drive us to move forward. Where focus goes, energy flows. Clarity equals power. The more clear you are exactly what you want, the faster and easier it is to achieve.
Let's imagine the day only went to 1 p.m. Obviously, you couldn't get everything in. So what do you have to focus on? If you're going to have done by 1, what do you have to focus on? The major priorities done by 1. So write it down.
He said, this next week, what are the most important outcomes for me to get this week in my business? And you just write those outcomes out, not your action items, the outcomes. If you do that and nothing else, you'll be ahead of the game.
But subconsciously, most people don't even believe they deserve the success. So they end up sabotaging themselves or not going all in on things.
Our brain, if we think that we're not entitled to a lot of success, creates what's something called success barriers. Our brain actually blocks out all these cool opportunities that we have to have success because our brain just thinks that we're not deserving of success, so it'll block it out. On the flip side, if you think that you're entitled to a lot of success and a lot of happiness, your brain will block out obstacles. You won't even look at different obstacles, and you'll just look at opportunity. You'll just see opportunity right in front of you. Well, that's what a strong sense of entitlement is. It's like, I am entitled to a great review from my customers. I'm entitled for people to like me. I'm entitled for people to be positive around me. And that's what your reticular activation system focuses in on. That is all. That is your reality.
Start working and developing yourself now and prepare yourself for what it is that you want, because you expect to get it.
A person that truly wants to be successful, they kind of show themselves. They're not the ones hiding. They're not the ones constantly celebrating. They're the ones that show up early. They're the ones that leave late. You get people that say, oh, listen, you don't have to work harder. You got to work smarter. No, you got to work harder and you got to work smarter. You got to do both of them. It's not a substitute. So when you find those individuals, they're not easily distracted. They come in, they ask for more work. They're the ones that are asking for pressure situations. They're not worried about when you criticize them or when you give them feedback, they go, I got it. They're going to improve themselves and make the adjustments needed to win. Staying dialed in on the end result. But you gotta crave that end result so intensely that the work becomes irrelevant.
LeBron wakes up every day and does what he does because he knows what he's going after. It's specific. And that's why I wake up with so much passion every day, because I know what I'm going to get. You know exactly what you want. You know exactly what it tastes like. You know what it looks like. You know what it smells like. When you understand what you're after, when you know what your outcomes are, when you know what you desire, you wake up every single morning and you go after it. The most successful people in the world are the most successful people in the world because they have clarity on what they want. People look at those of us who are successful like we superhuman. We're not. We're normal people like you with problems just like you. The only difference is we wake up with clarity. A part of your 10,000 hours of working on your gift is also 10,000 hours on shutting out everything else. Stuff is going to happen. The stuff that you can't control, forget about it. You are going to stop wasting energy and effort on stuff you can't control. But the stuff you can control, I want you to own it. If you got a 90-minute block, I want you to own that 90-minute block. If you got 45 minutes, I want you to own that 45 minutes. Because I'm telling you, if you can own that 45, if you can own that 90, things are going to change. This is going to be the best year of your life.
So every morning, make it a practice to actually just imagine the payoff, the benefit, the contribution, the art, the thing that you do and are doing and do contribute. If you can do that more often, you'll be more fired up and you'll stay back on track.
Keep dreaming. Keep looking at your dream. Keep your mind locked in on the dream. Keep focusing on the dream, and you'll get it.
Champions are made when the stands are empty. That means when no one's watching you, that's who you really are.
It's what you do behind closed doors that no one sees.
When no one's looking at you, when no one's there to judge you, except yourself. And you gotta do those things that suck, like putting in those extra reps, studying 5 more chapters, writing 3 more pages. What do you do then? Do you do that extra work or do you back off? That's the separator in life. That's what separates the average and ordinary from those who dominate.
Self-identity is the biggest problem that we have going right now. That's why social media is so relevant, because you're looking at everybody else's life and you're saying, that's the perfect life. Oh my gosh, and I want this and I want that. But you're afraid to actually test yourself every day. If any man in here in the military knows one thing, you gotta stand like a trooper. You got to present yourself like a man every freaking day. Day in, day out, day in, day out. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If we don't get to the mindset of being consistent and having some habits that's gonna frame our life, you just naturally do things habitually if you don't set your mind and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this on purpose.
So if that's you and you're listening to this and you think you can get by doing half-ass in some areas and do great in other areas and make millions of dollars, it's not gonna happen, guys. Because it's a habit, it's a character trait, it's a value, it's the way you are. If you want to cultivate the proper habits, you have to look at the finite details and execute on them all the fucking time. But most of the world's gonna sit around, they're gonna do nothing, and they're gonna wonder why they're miserable.
The answers lie in the repetitions. You must not forget the repetitions you put into trying to dominate the craft that you're in today.
The work is where the satisfaction comes from. It's where the happiness comes from.
It's my journey. Nobody decides what I make. Nobody decides how I live. Nobody decides my life. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. It's my journey, and I decided this is your journey. You're not a victim. This is your journey. It can end the way you want it to end, but you gotta grind like you want it. You can grind your way through it, or you can cry your way through it.
Always embrace the suck, adapt to the suck.
Greatness is not something that you meet once. It's something that you meet thousands of fucking times in your life, and you don't reach it if you're not constantly in constant fucking pursuit of fucking greatness. So if my mind were to say right now, I'm great, I just lost. We're not gonna do that crap. We're not gonna triple down on our strengths. We're gonna grow.
We're gonna work on our weaknesses so we grow. We need friction to do that. David Goggins, how did you become who you are today? I put a bunch of friction in my life, and I grew.
Stop letting slide. Stop cutting corners. Stop taking it easy. Stop letting that little voice win the war in your brain that says, tomorrow, I'll start Monday. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Give yourself a break. You work really hard. You deserve this. If you don't silence that voice, you will lose everything. And when things get the hardest, that is the most important time where you have to continue to move forward, putting one foot down in front of another, to make investments in your mental toughness, in your grit, in your fortitude, in your ability to persevere, in your ability to stay disciplined, because conditions will never be perfect. When we talk about it being freezing cold outside, and I'm talking about how I know that I need to go get acclimated to that because I can feel myself getting soft, that is me recognizing that my mental fortitude is getting rounded off when it needs to be very sharp.
Go in the mirror, take a good look at yourself, and say, how sharp is my disciplined blade right now? When you walk by the mirror, you go, that's a bad motherfucker right there. You say that? Think tonight when you're looking in the mirror.
We have to become aware of where we are mentally, and we have to make investments to harden ourselves mentally so that we can prepare for these hard times that come over and over and over and over again.
Every single day, as it sucks, as it's a grind, as it feels like a hustle, as it feels like compromising everything, and it's just like, oh my gosh. Honor this process as a challenge to become a better human, to develop a better attitude, to develop those skills that are required, to transform, to test your mettle and ask, what am I really made of?
If you can build yourself into someone who can work through these things as they come, there's really nothing that can stop you. You end up winning because everybody else can't make it through. You can't get around doing the work, and you're not going to figure out how to do it. You're not the first person in the world that's going to figure out how to do it without doing the hard and putting in the time.
It's a lifestyle. You don't want to go run, you go run. You don't want to go swim, you go swim. You don't want to study, you fucking study. That's how you start to callous your mind. So that became my life.
You want a guarantee to success? This is the only fucking way there is to build you into a mentally tough individual who has the fortitude, the perseverance, the discipline, the mental toughness to kick ass on a daily basis and laugh when the world kicks you in the fucking face. That is what you have to become.
It's going to suck. It's not going to be fun. Do something that sucks every single day of your life. That's how you grow. Embrace the suck.
Some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen. Others make it happen.
Nothing happens until something moves. Progress is made with action, not with promises or intentions. They mean nothing unless they're backed up by activity.
You got one or two choices. You either suffer becoming a new person and enjoy it, or you suffer staying the same and you don't enjoy it. You're gonna suffer either way. There's no coasting, because coasting only goes down. It's either you grind and rise, or you're miserable and you fall. Both are hard, either in the best way or in the worst way.
Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. Think about every poor decision you've made in your life. I'm sure there's more emotion that was involved in it than there was mind. Every single one of them. Your feelings keep you in bed. Your mind tells you, get up.
Your mood, your feelings are fucking irrelevant. Your life is going to be created by the results of the actions you take, not by the mood that you're in when you take them.
Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
I'm wired differently. I don't go to bed when I'm tired. I go to bed when I'm finished.
Nobody that's done anything that you think is great has ever been motivated the whole time. In fact, most of the that's been created over the history of mankind, all the you admire, all the buildings, all the accomplishments, all the championships, all the greatness, all the great books, all the great leaders, all the great technology that you use every single day was created by people who didn't fucking feel like it. They were tired. They weren't motivated. The world was created by people like that. So stop expecting to feel good about what it is you're trying to do and start investing in the skill set of being able to push through when conditions are not ideal. That is the only way you will succeed long term, brother. The only way.
And you walk with these people who's giving sweat, who's giving blood, who's giving tears. You want what they paid for, and it ain't free. It's not always going to be easy. They're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give you success. They're not going to put it on the platter. But if you're willing to work for it, if you're willing to put the sweat, the blood, the tears, if you're willing to earn it, you can have it. You got to impose your will.
Turn your feelings off when it comes down to you wanting to be better. I'm talking about the grind. When that alarm clock goes off, it's raining outside, it's cold outside, when you don't want to put those long hours in at work, when you know everybody's gone home to their families, but you want to be the top salesperson in the world, or you want to be the best lawyer in the world, whatever the it is, when everybody leaves to go home in a 15-story building, every office is dark, and only one office with one light on, that's the motherfucker right there you gotta be. You can't have feelings about when everybody leaves. Oh man, I wish I was going home to my beautiful family. Your feelings have to go away if you want to achieve greatness.
The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant.
What you should be focusing on all the time is what you are doing this for. You look at your kid instead of thinking, oh man, I've got to give up these 3 hours at night. No, I am going to provide for that kid to go to a good high school, to a good college. I'm going to take care of them, and I'm going to build awesome memories with them because of what I'm doing now. When you think about, oh, I've got to get up my time with my buddies. No, think about you being on the back of a motherfucking yacht with all your boys having a good time. That's why you're doing this shit.
I want you to tie your feelings to that as you're working. So when you feel like slowing down, I want you to remember what you're after.
You gotta stay focused on what it is you are gaining, not what you are giving up. It costs a lot. You're gonna trade a whole lot of your life. You're gonna trade important things in your life to have that fucking life. It takes major fucking payment from your life to build important, great, big things that benefit other people. You're gonna have to do a lot of shit you don't wanna do to get where you wanna go. That is how it works. There is no hack, there's no program, there's no $997 a month AI hack that's gonna get you there. You gotta build it within yourself. And once you build yourself into that kind of weapon, now you have an advantage over everybody else because everybody else is just like you. They quit when they don't fucking feel like it. And if you become the person who cannot quit no matter what, no matter how they feel their shit gets done, you cannot be stopped. How can you stop someone that gets their shit done regardless of what's going on in their life? You cannot stop that person. If you want to become that kind of person, which is required to build big, important, great things, you're going to have to learn to execute when you don't fucking feel like it.
Download this video and audio by becoming a member at benlionelscott.com. Plus, get early access to all new content and hundreds of exclusive videos.